Hello, this is Lara from Create Access. This video will show you how to edit and animate a 3D model using Spline. Spline is a free 3D design software that allows users to easily create interactive experiences by adding materials, effects, and animations to 3D models. Spline runs on a web browser and requires no coding knowledge. The animation you create in Spline can be used in a variety of ways. For example, you can add it to a website to make your web page look more visually engaging. To get started, head to spline.design and create a free account. You may be asked a series of introductory questions while creating your account and be prompted to upgrade to the paid plan. You can always decline this offer and use Spline for free. Under the Get Started section, create a new project by clicking the plus New File button. If you are using Spline for the first time, you will see a short tutorial in your project. Complete or skip this tutorial before following the next steps in this video. You can navigate the viewport in Spline by using scroll wheel to zoom in and out, holding down the middle mouse button to pan, and holding Alt and using mouse button to rotate. To import your own 3D model into Spline, select the Import button on the bottom left corner of the screen. Choose the 3D model option and find the 3D model file you would like to import from your computer. You can import any model you wish. If you're importing a 3D model from Tinkercad, it is important to remember to choose the OBJ file named Tinker and not the file named OBJ. After importing your model, select the pre-existing rectangle shape in Spline and delete it by pressing the Delete key. When using a model from Tinkercad, your model will be imported into Spline under a group named Tinker, and all the shapes will be stored under this group. If you have grouped any shapes in Tinkercad, they will appear as a single element in Spline, and you can only apply one material to this element. If not grouped, each shape will appear separately, and you can change their materials individually. You can see all the shapes and groups you have in Spline in the Objects menu on the left. Select the shape you want to edit from the Objects menu. You can move the shape by using the arrows and rotate it by using the handles. To scale your shape, click and drag on the small spheres where the arrow and the handle meet. Spline has a heavily customizable material setup that you can use to give different look to each of your shapes. Materials can make your shapes look like fabric, wood, metallic, or just different colors and patterns. Select the shape to which you want to add a material. Clicking on the viewport will select the entire group instead of a single shape. This group will be called Tinker if you import it from Tinkercad. So make sure to use the left menu panel to select a single shape to edit your shapes individually. After selecting your shape, head to the right menu panel to find the Materials section. The shape will already have a basic material applied to it with a white color. Click on the white square next to Color and change the color of your shape. You can do this for each separate shape to make your design more colorful. The Materials system in Spline works in layers, which is similar to adding multiple filters on top of each other to achieve the look you want. By using the layer system, you can create more complex materials. For example, you can use the noise layer to give your shape a more interesting look instead of a solid color. To do this, first click on the plus icon next to the Materials section to add a new layer. By default, a new color layer will be created on top, and it will overwrite the previous color under it. You can change this layer to a noise or any other option by clicking the drop-down arrow at the top and selecting noise from the many options. You should now have a noise layer on the top with a random pattern and a multitude of customization options. To increase the visual interest of this layer, click on the square next to the noise layer and change your settings. Change the scale settings until you achieve a grayscale pattern that you like. Then, change the 4 color options to make your pattern more colorful. The number 100 next to the material layer indicates the opacity of that layer. If you bring the opacity of the noise layer to 50, you will notice that the pattern you've created has become half transparent, and you can slightly see the original color layer underneath. This is one of the advantages of working with layered materials in Spline. You can always change the order of your layers or adjust your opacity to achieve different looks easily. To customize your material even more, add a new layer with the plus icon, and this time choose the Fresnel option from the drop-down menu. The Fresnel layer will give highlights to your shapes based on the camera angle. Adjust the opacity as you wish. If you wish to see how your material will look without a certain layer, you can hide that layer temporarily by clicking the eye icon next to the layer you want to hide. If you'd like to delete a layer completely, hover over the layer and click the small X icon on the right side. The material system in Spline gives the user a lot of space for customization. Take some time to test different layers and material settings to further customize your 3D model. Adding animations to your shapes in Spline includes using the States and Events panels on the right side of the screen. The states are defined position, rotation, and scale information of your shape. By creating multiple states, you can direct your model to move in different ways and directions. Let's start by creating a new state by selecting a shape and clicking the plus icon on the right. Two new states will appear under the States tab, Base State and State. Base state is the beginning point of your animation and has the position of your shape recorded when you clicked on the plus icon. State is the next step in the animation, and you need to change your shape's location, rotation, or scale to create some movement. To start animating, make sure State is selected and edit your shape. For example, you can move your shape to a higher position or make it smaller. If you click between the base state and state, you will now see the difference between the two positions. These will be the first and second positions of your animation. If you'd like to add more positions to your animation, click the plus icon again to create a new state. Select State 2 and change your shape's location, rotation, or scale again. Click through each state to see the differences between the base state, state, and State 2. Feel free to add as many states as you wish to your animation. To actually make the states connect and animate, you need to use events in Spline. Events describe how and when your animation will react to different triggers on screen, such as mouse movement, clicking, pressing buttons, and more. Find the Events panel on the right and click on the plus icon to create a new event. A new panel will appear for the event you have created. Under the Action section, select Transition. This option allows you to create an animation based on the states you've already created. Open the Transition section. It'll be populated with two drop-downs by default. For drop-down 1, select Base State. For drop-down 2, select State. These are the orders of your shape's movement during the animation. If you have more states that you've created, add a new drop-down by using the plus icon in the Transition section. For the third drop-down, select State 2. Repeat these steps as much as you need based on the states you have. By selecting the states in different orders for the drop-downs, you can change the order of your animation if desired. To test your animation, click on the play icon on the top menu. You will see a preview of your Spline project with the animation. The animation will play once in the preview. When you're done testing, click on the X icon to close the play preview window. To make your animation loop, instead of just playing once, head to the Sequence section at the bottom of the event window. In the Loop drop-down, select Count for a definite number of loops, or Infinite for a non-stop cycle. In the Cycle drop-down, select Ping Pong to make your animation loop back and forth. Use the play icon again to test your looping animation. By default, your animation will start as soon as the web page loads. You can change this and make your animation start based on a specific trigger such as a mouse movement or a keyboard press. At the top of the Events window, click on the drop-down that says Starts and select a different trigger. For example, mouse hover will make your animation start only when the mouse hovers over the animated shape. If the mouse does not move over your shape, the animation will not play. Feel free to pick different triggers and test them by using the play icon on the top menu. These options can help you create an interactive experience for the user who will be viewing your animation. Exporting from Spline gives the user a multitude of options that include recording a video of the project, downloading in different 3D file formats, adding to a mobile platform, and more. If you'd like to add your Spline project to a personal website, you can export an embed code from the export window. Select the export option from the top right corner of the screen. Under the web category, select Viewer to generate an embed code. Click on Copy Embed and make sure to save this code. Keep exploring Spline to create even more complex materials and animations for your projects. Have fun creating, and thanks for watching.